Donald Trump has denied he held on to any document about Iran in his first interview since he was indicted in Florida over his handling of classified documents. The former president told Fox News he ignored requests from the National Archives because he was busy. Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen joins us now live. Annalise, what else did the former president have to say?
Look, much of it was around his impending run. He is still, by all the pollings, the front runner for the Republican nomination. And when you look at a head-on-head with Joe Biden, he's still winning in many of those polls as well. But the focus of this interview, of course, was around his indictment in Florida. This is the first interview he's done since that court hearing, and what we heard was some flat denials from Donald Trump around what he's been accused of in this indictment, in particular around these documents that relate to the theoretical planning of an invasion of Iran. Now, when he was asked about what happened first with the request from the National Archives for the documents to be handed over, Donald Trump did delay on that as detailed in the indictment. But when asked about it, the former president said that he just hadn't gotten around to going through those boxes yet.
I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah, but according to the indictment, you then tell this aide to move to other locations after telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things, golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things. I would say much more, not that I know of, but everything was declassified.
To the specific point about that document relating to Iran, one of the reasons this is such an issue for his legal case is that the prosecution has put in a recording where he was being interviewed for a book, and from the recording it sounds like he's showing this document to someone, but the key here is that in this recording he says, "I could have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't." So what that then goes to is knowledge that the documents were classified, and then the refusal to hand them over when asked by the FBI. He was asked about this again in this interview, and he denied that the document even exists.
There was no document. That was a massive amount of papers and everything else talking about Iran and other things. And it may have been held up or may not, but that was not a document. I didn't have a document per se. There was nothing to declassify. These were newspaper stories, magazine stories, and articles.
I'm just saying.
One of the other interesting things this raises in what's going to be a complicated trial is the fact that many of these documents will have to be tendered in open court. Legal teams on both sides have already had to apply for security clearances just to look through the evidence. But then the question is, how can a defendant be asked about it on the stand in front of a jury who presumably won't have security clearances either? Danica?
Yeah, good question. Annalise, thank you.